Hello, everyone. For this discussion on Revolutionary era public history, I've chosen to talk about Valley Forge National Historic Park in Pennsylvania. So, first, a little background. Valley Forge was not a battlefield during the Revolutionary War. It was rather a training ground and the site of the Continental Army's winter encampment, starting in December of 1777 and going through June of 1778. Its role in the Revolution was both critical and complex. Shortly after losing Philadelphia to the British, General George Washington chose Valley Forge based on its defensibility. While there, the Continental Army experienced a great deal of suffering, losing 2 to 3,000 soldiers from disease, exposure, and starvation. This is what gave Valley Forge its legendary status as a test location for American endurance. Another viewpoint, however, is Valley Forge's role as a site of major transformation for the Continental Army. Early in 1778, Prussian officer Baron von Steuben arrived. He introduced to the army a rigorous standardized drill manual, and according to historian Ricardo Herrera, von Steuben's methods helped solidify the American army as a professional force with its own standards for conduct and operations. The army that marched out of Valley Forge in June of 1778 was a disciplined and competent fighting force, ready for the remainder of the war. Following the Revolutionary War, the preservation history of Valley Forge tells a story of changing American memory. At first, the site was neglected farmland. The movement to preserve Valley Forge began in the late 19th century, resulting in the creation of Valley Forge State Park in 1893. But then in 1976, it was transferred to the federal government as a National Historic Park. Preservation efforts today include protecting the undeveloped landscape, restoring General Washington's headquarters, and also the reconstruction of soldier huts based on archaeological evidence. Practically all of the Valley Forge structures have been lost to time or neglect, so a lot of what visitors will see today is recreated from the extensive research historians and archaeologists have done. So now let's take a look at two interpretations for the historical significance of Valley Forge. We'll call the first one the crucible of patriotism. This early view, which dominated the era of national park establishment, sees Valley Forge as a very spiritual site. It emphasizes the shared heroic suffering and also the sacrifice of the common soldier, arguing that their endurance demonstrated here is basically what forged the American national character. We'll call the second interpretation the triumph of professionalism and logistics. This is more of an academic interpretation focused on success of the training program. Historian Wayne Bodle argues that the real achievement was the organizational survival and success of von Steuben's training. The camp was not just about suffering, it was a reorganization center that proved George Washington's critical leadership ability in logistics and discipline. According to Laurette Treese, this shift highlights the successful transition from a collection of militias to a unified professional army. Now, in my future classroom, I see great educational value in a field trip to Valley Forge. It would allow students to go beyond the dates and names of battles in order to understand the human and logistical dimensions of the war. Walking the grounds, seeing the cramped, reconstructed huts, and visiting the Spartan conditions of the original encampment might make the abstract idea of suffering much more tangible to the average person. It would also be an ideal way to discuss primary sources like letters from soldiers and Washington's correspondence that detail how desperate that winter was for the Continental Army. Most importantly, a field trip to Valley Forge would provide a unique perspective on how the Revolutionary War was won. It was not just won by fighting bravely, but by enduring hardship, demonstrating organizational genius, and overcoming repeated battlefield failures. Valley Forge is where the American cause found its professional footing that allowed it to continue on to ultimate victory. Thank you all for listening. I look forward to your feedback.